74 days away from week 0. And Taylor Corn obviously drags us into the crossroads of content and debate and fury all the time with questions and graphics that we put up, whether it's quarterback rankings, coach rankings, things like that. And the latest one is home field advantage, the best home field advantage in the Southeastern Conference, to which Ryan Brown's list has drawn some ire. The top 5 home field advantages in the SEC by Ryan Brown live on social media with next round out of Birmingham.
You should follow him.
Number 5 is Tennessee. Number 4, Florida. Number 3, LSU. Number 2, Alabama. And number 1, Auburn. Brownie, criteria first. How do you define what's home field advantage?
So I would define it as places where teams play at a higher level. When they're good, I mean, we're talking about a 3-9 team. It doesn't matter where you play it; they're going to suck.
So
but a team plays at a higher level than they normally would, and I believe it is because of the atmosphere in which they play.
Is this historically or now?
I would say, historically to a certain extent. I wouldn't go back to the 1960s, but I will consider, the last 20 or 25 years.
Yeah, I just don't think you can put Auburn up there.
Oh, 100% you can. I have been to many.
They've lost to New Mexico State, Cal, and Vanderbilt at home in the last 2 years.
So that's 2 years, but you didn't hear me. I said I'm considering historically 25 years.
Okay.
No, I mean, anybody can look at records and just say, well, here are the best team records. I mean, that's easy to do. And people that don't watch college football could do that. But I have been to many Iron Bowls and Deep South oldest rivalries where Alabama and Georgia are obviously the better teams. Obviously. And they've either lost the game, in Alabama's case, or in Alabama and Georgia's case, had to fight tooth and nail to get out of Jordan-Hare Stadium against a lesser opponent. And having been at the games, it's 100% because they don't manage the crowd well. 100%. Like Nick Saban's the best we've ever seen, right? You guys would both agree on that one.
Everybody agrees.
Yeah, the best we've ever seen. And his teams seem prepared for everything, did they not? How many times did you see them just melt at Jordan-Hare Stadium, make mistakes they never make, do stupid things they never do, play to a level they never play? Is that just coincidence that it's at Jordan-Hare? It's not because they're playing Auburn, because when they do it in Bryant-Denny, they play elite, and Auburn can't touch them, right?
There is something weird about the Iron Bowl. I will give you that, but I think the Iron Bowl is the one-off.
Well, you were just we mention it all the time, a Deep South's oldest rivalry where a bad Auburn team, if not for Brock Bowers being a hero.
Yeah, no, you're right.
In the fourth quarter. And I've seen that. I've seen that against Georgia many times down there.
But how do you explain New Mexico State, Cal, and all that?
Because that was a bad Auburn team.
Yeah, but
there's 2 bad Auburn teams. I mean, how do you explain Alabama losing to Louisiana Monroe in Nick Saban's first year?
Yeah.
It was a bad Alabama team. It had nothing to do with the crowd or where the stadium's played. Everybody loses games.
See, I don't. Your list at Auburn 1, that didn't bother me as much as Alabama at 2. Bryant-Denny Stadium. I mean, I remember you on our radio show agreeing with Wimp what a sleepy atmosphere Bryant-Denny Stadium is.
Was.
Not really a home field advantage.
It was, but it has changed.
Not
now,
to
a lot
bring
of
up
that
historical facts with you the last 25
so you're
years.
Going history on Auburn, but current with Alabama. It's your list.
When you say,
I mean, it's your list.
Glad somebody has realized this. When you talk about Alabama, do you believe Bryant-Denny Stadium over the last 15 years was the most feared place in America to play?
But
I think it was the most feared team to play.
Because the team was so good.
So you
sort of
don't
the
think
opposite side of what
But you don't think the stadium had anything to do with it? The atmosphere had anything to do with it?
Well, my list will come out eventually.
Right.
I truthfully don't remember if I had Alabama in my top 5 or not.
Okay.
I do think what you're trying to say, or you are saying, is that, and this is the way I judge home field advantage. Okay, if all teams are created equal, does the home field atmosphere make my team better than it is in a neutral setting? That's fair, right?
Right.
And I do believe Jordan-Hare Stadium makes Auburn better. But I can't explain
But
New
not
Mexico
across the board it doesn't.
But I can't explain New Mexico State and Cal.
I can easily explain New Mexico State and Cal.
Well, I gave you a chance earlier. Do it. Give me that. New Mexico State and Cal. Give me the one off.
Number one, they weren't really good Auburn teams. That's number one. And number 2, the Auburn fans showed up thinking they were going to win that game. There was no atmosphere in that game.
Yeah, but like in basketball, Fog Island Fieldhouse, I mean, whoever comes in there, they're going to lose, even if Kansas isn't really good that year.
Houston didn't.
Yeah, now you're talking about the best in the Big 12. We're back to New Mexico
right.
State.
Right.
I mean, Auburn has a losing record at home the last 2 seasons.
But Auburn is not Kansas basketball. I mean, that is the apples and orange comparison.
I know, but you've got them number 1 on your list, most difficult place to play in the SEC.
Nope.
It's the most
home field advantage, not most difficult place to play. And I'm basing it on where I have seen a home stadium lift a team well above who they are to beat good teams or play tight with good teams.
I am convinced there is something going on with the Iron Bowl again, but I went back and just looked at the other games. Outside of the Iron Bowl, there's nothing that jumps over the last 5 years.
Okay, well, give me something that jumps at other places.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I'm
Well, you're making the argument. Give me something that jumps.
No, I'm telling you that Auburn doesn't have this great home field advantage.
Okay, who does?
I don't know. I would have to dig through it, but I'm just telling you Auburn does. Auburn is 5-8 the last 2 years in Jordan-Hare.
Okay, again, now you're stuck on 2 years. These
Okay.
are crappy Auburn teams. I mean, I took a bigger sample size than 2 years. Again, anybody can look at record and say, well, these are the best records
Okay,
at
over
home.
the last 4 years, they've got a losing record at home.
Okay.
That's a full recruiting cycle.
Yeah, again, if you base this on record, these are easy to do. You would go Alabama and Georgia. They win everywhere. If you base it on record.
Oh, I mean,
anybody can rank it based on record.
The most difficult places that I have actually gone and witnessed games, and the Iron Bowl Jordan-Hare is big time.
Okay.
But LSU and Tennessee traditionally for me.
That's right.
Yeah.
Tennessee's lost a lot of home games over the last 5 or 6 years, 10 years. You can go a long way back for Tennessee. They lost a bunch of home games. Alabama has beaten Tennessee silly at Neyland Stadium.
Yeah.
Georgia has beaten Tennessee silly at Neyland
I would
Stadium.
say in the last 5 years, Tennessee has a better home record than Auburn. I don't know this for a fact.
I would imagine they do.
I would say that half the conference has a better home record than
They
Auburn.
probably do. Again, if you want to just look at a 5-year record, then Taylor should have asked us who's got the best home record over the last 5 years.
No, I'm just saying I think the Jordan-Hare thing is overrated.
Would you guys say I go to more games than anybody else on the desk here?
I go to maybe one a year.
Yeah,
so,
I go to 1 or 2 a year, maybe.
Yeah, I go to a lot. I agree with. I mean, Jordan-Hare is in the mix. Florida Field, Neyland, Tiger Stadium, Kyle Field. Those are unbelievable atmospheres.
See, I think Kyle Field's probably the most overrated.
Well, not when it comes to atmosphere. When it comes to winning big games, I understand that. But the atmosphere is intimidating. It's really, really a wonderful atmosphere. Current, looking at the records, as Brown says, longest win streaks in the country right now. On top of the list, the Georgia Bulldogs have won 32 straight at home. Washington, 20 straight. Oregon, 15 straight. Fourth in the country, tied Boise State and Alabama with 12-game home win streaks. But Georgia never gets talked about as a crazy home field advantage.
I turn on a lot of Georgia games, and I see a bunch of empty seats in the upper deck. I mean, it is what it is. Now, if it's a big game, they come out. Now, look, Georgia and Alabama are going to be good anywhere. They're the best teams in the SEC over the last 20 years. So they're going to be good anywhere. So I get that they're going to win a lot of home games. But when I watch games at Sanford Stadium, it just doesn't seem like that intimidating a place to play, other than the fact that the team's really
that's
good.
why Alabama
Normally by the third quarter, though, the game's over.
Yeah.
Well, no, this is at the start of the game. I've turned on a lot of Georgia games, and that upper deck in the corner and into the end zone is empty. I'm almost certain that is student overflow.
Yeah. In one section it is.
Yeah, one section it is student overflow, but that is part of it. And hey, look, it's one thing Nick Saban faulted Alabama was not necessarily that it was empty to start the game, that it was empty to end the game. But that's normally Alabama was up 40 at that point.
I'll go back. I told this to Forrester. You know, he was telling me that you were getting in some debate on social media about your list, and I was like, is it Alabama at 2? Because that's the one that jumped for me, because Alabama's been so good. You don't think of Bryant-Denny of a home field advantage place because Alabama's good, Georgia's good. I never think of Athens because Georgia's always so good. I never think of Tuscaloosa because Alabama's always so good.
Yeah.
When it comes to home field advantage, I always think about the teams that are sort of not really good that play better because they're at home.
Okay.
That's how I get to it.
Then do that for me in the SEC and see how hard
no,
that is. Auburn is number 1.
Auburn's on my list.
Yep.
Auburn's on my list.
Okay, and then who else?
LSU's on my list, Except when they play Alabama,
Well,
you know.
they've never played well against Alabama at Tiger
Yeah.
Stadium.
But
That's
they are
history
better
that's
there.
longer than
They're
25 years.
Florida's on my list. They play better in Gainesville than they do on the road. And
Yeah, but see, and these are down Florida teams. But there was a time that the Swamp was the most feared place to play in America.
yeah, Florida
And-
also was so good there too. Those
They
Florida teams were good.
Yeah, but you went to games at the Swamp. That place was deafening.
Yeah,
it
I was
it
there.
affected the
I have
opponent.
learned that all of these lists, from quarterbacks to coaches to home field advantages, are getting a lot of people riled up.
Yeah, they do. That's college football. That's why I love what we do, man. I mean, people are passionate about
I don't
college
even know
football.
if I did the home field advantages. Did you do it?
I know I did. I just don't know
I thought we all did the same ones.
when it came out. I think we all did the same ones. Yeah.
Probably just hasn't been dropped yet.
They'll drop mine and Lance's later on, and it'll be funny if mine and Lance's
Yeah.
matches
Yeah,
Browns
so you'll get
exactly.
all- Auburn
I
number one.
probably have Auburn one.
That would be awesome.
I hope I've got LSU one.
That would be so the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And my stance on Tiger Stadium has often been misrepresented on this show by my two friends here on the desk. I think Tiger Stadium is a very difficult place to play. Oh, by the first, you know how I knew
By the way, over that recruiting cycle where Auburn is sub 500 in 4
Yeah.
years, what do you think LSU is at home the last 4 years?
How many total?
28 total
28
games.
total games. I'd say 18 and 10.
24 and 4.
24 and 4.
I was going to say 5 losses.
Yeah. Now,
That's pretty impressive.
A lot
Yeah.
of those to Bama.
at least
One maybe. Yeah, one
yeah,
last year.
just one. The very first text I got on this, the very first one, and I'll read you the text. The way I knew this list went out is I got the Twitter notification that Taylor had sent it out. I was at lunch with a friend yesterday, and I got the Twitter notification that went out, and I was like, oh, I'm sure this will spark some conversation. And then literally 2 minutes later, I looked down to this text on my phone. It was a screenshot, or they sent me the tweet Taylor sent out and said, just doing a wellness check on you after seeing this list, Jacob Hester.
Yeah.
He didn't like LSU number 3. And I'm like, all right, so my stance on LSU and Tiger Stadium has been badly misrepresented.
LSU at 3, I don't think is what flipped anybody. I think it's Alabama at 2. I think
Yeah.
that is surprising a lot of people that Alabama's 2 on your
So
list.
LSU at 3. I would just make a case that over the last 15 years, and a lot of it has to do with Nick Saban being on that sideline. What?
Taylor just sent me Lance's
I know.
list.
I cannot wait for this to
Is
come
Auburn
out.
one?
Of course it is. Cannot wait for this to come out. And when it comes out, let's attack it with the same passion we've attacked this one, okay?
I'm wrong. Trust me, I won't be on social media debating it.
Oh, I wasn't debating it. I wasn't debating it.
Where do I have LSU?
You have them 2.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Alabama 5. Big difference. You got A&M 4. I think that one's overrated.
I've never been. I haven't. I've been.
I mean, it looks good.
I've been everywhere in the SEC outside of Missouri
Yeah.
and Texas A&M.
Yeah.
One Texas.
I wasn't debating. I couldn't. number one.
And again,
I wasn't-
since I've done this
since you
exercise,
now
I guess.
since you now agree with me.
Well, no, so I don't now. My list sucks, so don't even put it out. Because you can't be the best home field advantage if you've got a losing record over a full recruiting cycle the last 4 years.
It's your list.
Yeah,
It's your list, man.
Yeah. But I think that
I don't have
Lance,
him number 1. I'm
that's
the only
not-
guy on the desk that doesn't have him number 1.
That's not a reflection of the home field advantage. That's a reflection of the coaches they've had. I mean, everybody's got bad coaches.
Yeah, but
I mean,
the home field
LSU
advantage should be able to negate bad coaching.
I mean,
Bad teams.
Tiger
It
Stadium.
should.
Tiger Stadium. Were they good when Jerry DiNardo was the head coach? Were they good when Mike Archer was the head coach? It was still Tiger Stadium. But my gosh, you let Nick Saban get in there and Les Miles get in there, and for 1 year Ed Orgeron get in there, and you couldn't beat them down there sometimes. Well, that's just the way it is. Florida. You know, when Ron Zook was the coach, that was still a good atmosphere, but it wasn't as good as when Urban Meyer and Steve Spurrier were the coach. So there's factors you have to play into this. I'm not going to apologize. I stand by my list. People were all wound up about it yesterday. I laughed reading them. I didn't debate anybody. I'm not going to get on there.
Yeah, I'm
and
not
debate
going to
it.
stand by my list now.
My list is perfect, actually.
Okay, good.
Who do you have one?
I have Auburn way down at 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love this discussion. Yeah.
I really do
I
think-
told you Alabama was the one that
I
stood out to
think
me
it-
that you had them at 2.
I think it is the Iron Bowl that has skewed us. I don't think if you went around to people, Jacob Hester.
Okay.
I think if you went around to people that are involved in college football that aren't in our state, I think the perception is different.
That's right. If you pull out one game from
Yep.
each stadium, it changes the perception. You
I-
pull out Iron Bowl at Auburn, pull out Alabama at LSU, LSU goes up.
I will
Right.
say this. Yeah, I mean, Alabama's a big factor in a lot of this, right? I will say this, though. I mean, and these are just, and I don't go to a ton of games, and these are just limited pictures, obviously. I'll never forget 2006 sitting with our buddy Terry Henley. Me and Dunaway sat with Terry Henley. I don't know if you were at this game. Auburn, Georgia, Auburn, Florida, eventual national championship, Florida Gators. Eventual national champion, Florida Gators, and a good Auburn team. Not a great Auburn team, but a good Auburn team. And to this day, I think it might be the best home atmosphere I've ever been in. And I've been to some really good ones at Tiger Stadium. I've been to a good one in the Blackout at Georgia. I've been to some really good ones at Bryant-Denny. But I don't know that just the way the crowd interacted in the game that night, I've been to one better than that 2006 Auburn-Florida game. And it affected Florida. Florida was the eventual national champion. And I just saw Florida, a good Urban Meyer coach Florida team with Chris Leak at quarterback and Tim Tebow probably in that game, not playing as much as he should have. He had limited snaps in that game. Make mistake after mistake after mistake, and those are crowd mistakes. Those are mistakes teams don't make at other places. They get affected by the crowd.
I think '93 Florida was as good as that team. Different era, harder to win a national championship out of the SEC back then. That Florida team got beat at Jordan-Hare by a team that went 11-0, 11-0, 11-0. But that Auburn team didn't belong on the field with that Florida team in 1993, and Jordan-Hare Stadium helped them win that game. Yeah.
I see that crowd, and it's a compliment to Auburn. Their program has not been as good as Alabama and Georgia's. Nobody would argue that over the last 15, 20 years.
Yeah.
But I have seen routinely that crowd lift their team up. It's just a difficult place to play. I bet you if you ask players honestly, I bet you Auburn would show up a lot more than you guys would imagine. Well, maybe I don't know. You had them number one. I bet Auburn would show up a lot more than people would imagine.
Lance's list: Auburn, LSU, Florida, A&M, and Alabama. For me, it's LSU, Auburn, Tennessee, Florida, and Alabama at number 5.